Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Sans33 here, and welcome to another Pokemon TCG battle video. And today we have two returning faces from our battle videos. On the left we have Kiran, who I have not featured in quite a long time, back a long time ago, like November, December, I think, around that era, around that time. I made a lot of battle videos then, and Kiran was featured in at least one of them. I think it was just one. And today he's playing a straight Darkrai deck with Absol and Sableye, which, besides Sableye, that deck recently won the California Regionals in Master Division, which is it's not considered the best deck, but that regional showed that it's definitely still a contender in this current format. And of course, on the right we have Quentin, who we have featured before recently, who is playing a Darkrai Hydreigon deck with Absol, as you can see there. So yeah, these are both not top tier metagame decks. Of course, Darkrai did just win regionals, but it's still not considered the best thing in the world. Of course, Hydreigon I recently featured in a mix-up episode. You should check that out. I'll probably put a link to that in the description if I remember to. If not, you can just search around my channel. It's the most recent one when I post this video. And yeah, in that video, I said that this matchup, I think the Darkrai player has the disadvantage over the I guess, the Darkrai Hydreigon player, since they both are very evenly matched. The Hydreigon player is very slightly slower than the uh, the straight Darkrai player, but so they also have Max Potion, which allows them to heal the Pokemon that are damaged. Obviously, like they have a lot of that. They have up to 3 Max Potion usually. Usually they're 2 or 3, and as well as Dowsing Machine sometimes. So you can heal off the damage the Darkrai player does and simply beat them in a war attrition. Just keep hitting their Darkrai's, keep healing damage, and at some point you'll be able to finish off the Darkrai's. But that's what I feel like the matchup would go most of the time. That's how it usually ends up happening. So here, Quentin's going to play an N. He has a Absol on the active, a Sableye on the bench, and a Darkrai. Darkrai and Sableye are both obviously very good things to have on the first turn, but right now he is currently lacking a Dino, which is the big core strategy of the deck, is to get out Hydreigon, and without Dinos you cannot do that. So if you can draw a Dark Patch, he'll probably be able to get out. I think he played a Level Ball. No, he played an Ultra Ball. He'll be able to get that Ultra Ball back and get a Dino the next turn. But if he does not draw Dark Patch or some kind of way to get a Dino, he could be in some trouble for a while. Kiran could just very easily steamroll him with a fast setup if he does by chance get that setup. So they're gonna both draw 6 from their N, and let's see what Quentin gets from this. Gets from this N. See a lot of things from his hand. I see. So it's Wireless, a Hydreigon, and a Rare Candy, but no Dino. It's a shame. And Kiran is now gonna. It's not Kiran's turn because I think it's a Furbank City Jam he just played. Kind of glaring, but I believe that's what it is. He has to get the Sableye out. Of course, Sableye is a good thing to have on the first turn. Looks like the starts are very similar, actually. Sableye, Darkrai on the bench, and Absol on the active. And he's going to play Laser and put that Absol to sleep. And let's see what else Kiran has this turn. Ideally, he's going to want to use Junk Hunt to get more things to do. Get some Dark Patches and search cards and computer search maybe. And it looks like he's going for a greedy Juniper here. He's going to discard a Dark Energy, hoping to draw a Dark Energy and a Dark Patch to be able to Junk Hunt this turn. A lot of players would just opt to just play the Dark Energy in case they happen to whiff an Energy Attachment, which is very likely a lot of the time. I believe Kiran runs a lot of Dark Energy. I believe it's 11 or 12 plus Energy Search. I could be wrong, but it's higher than most Darkrai decks. So it was expected for him to get that, but it looks like he did not get one, which is kind of a shame. It's definitely bad for Kiran. Missing a turn 1 attachment in a matchup where he's supposed to apply a lot of early pressure is very painful. And it looks like Kiran's a little frustrated with this. Let's see what he's gonna do. He has an Ultra Ball. He's considering playing that. He also has a catcher. Let's see what he can do. He can Ultra Ball and get a. He doesn't really need anything with that Ultra Ball. I assume he's just gonna save that. He might want another Darkrai, but he can definitely wait on that. Looks like his hand has a lot of things in it that he wants to keep. And then it's going to pass. And Kiran and Quentin is going to take the 30 from Poison, and looks like he is awake. I wasn't quite sure if he was awake or asleep there. So yeah, uh, yeah, it's definitely good that he woke up there. If he did not wake up, he would probably just have to pass with his Absol active, and he would not be able to do anything really. He would just be he'd have the Absol stuck there, and he would have to pass, just attach, maybe get something, get like a Dino maybe, but yeah, looks like uh, he's gonna play Skylight probably for a level ball or ultra ball, get a Dino out. He has the energy on Sableye, so really at this point all he needs is the Hydreigon, and his setup will be fairly good. With Kiran's very slow start, I mean, Quentin's looks to be very slow, but I think Kiran's has overall the worst start. He has no energy attachment for the first turn, and he has this Absol active, which if he wants to use this, he can't really attack this next turn. So I think uh, Quentin is safe to get a single Dino out and just go from there. That's what he's gonna do because Kiran really the only way I see Kiran being able to knock it out is with Sableye, Dark Claw, Catcher, Laser, which is a possibility, but I think that it's very unlikely for Kiran to draw that, especially since his hand looks like it has none of that in it currently. Is gonna Quentin is going to get a Dino, and he's probably just going to retreat and Junk Hunt. There's plenty of things he can get with this Junk Hunt. Probably another level ball to get another Dino. I believe he also runs Mr. Mime, which will be very important in this matchup to help his Pokemon take less damage from Darkrai's Night Spear. So level ball will help him get either it'll help him get either Mr. Mime or another Dino, and he's just going to get level ball and Ultra Ball with his Junk Hunt. I don't think there's any other items in there actually. So that's not a bad thing. And you saw he has the Rare Candy and Hydreigon in his hand, so he'll be able to get that out this turn, which is very good for him. And then he'll probably be able to start putting on pressure with Night Spear, because all he needs is one more energy to use Night Spear. So I think Quentin is definitely in a favorable position right now. And Kiran is not in a favorable position. His position looks quite bad. He has, looks like a catcher, and not much else. He has an Ultra Ball. What's that thing in the back? I think it's a Full Art Skyla. Could be totally wrong there, but I see something in the back that might look. I think there's a Darkrai, and I'm pretty sure there's also a Full Art Skyla. I don't know if Kiran actually owns one. Oh, looks like he's gonna play that catcher and bring up the Dino, hoping to knock that out. Oh, I forgot. He also needs to get a Dark Patch to bring up the Sableye. I believe he does not play Switch or Floatstone, which could be a problem for Kiran. It's since Energy Switch is gone, it's very hard to get energy on Pokemon to attack with this deck. Since you only have one attachment per turn plus Dark Patch, you always have to have an energy on the active Pokemon to retreat it, which is quite annoying for Darkrai decks this day and age. But yeah, that's one of the problems with these Darkrai decks nowadays. It's just they're too slow and clunky to set up because they just have to rely on Dark Patch for those extra attachments. No longer do they have Energy Switch do that. Darkrai decks used to play, like a long time ago, they used to play Shaman with the Celebration Wind ability to move energy around as much as possible. And then when that rotated out, they had to switch to Energy Switch, and now they have to switch to Switch. So yeah, that's a big problem for Kiran here. What just happened? I don't know what just happened. He Ultra Balled, and I don't know what happened. I thought I saw Mr. Mime in his hand, and he may have gotten the Mr. Mime with Ultra Ball and showed it off screen and not shown. Yeah, it was Mr. Mime. I feel like he would have played that last turn if he had it. So he probably got that with Ultra Ball and just didn't show us, the viewers, or me. I guess I'm a viewer too when I'm watching this game. This isn't live commentary or anything. Obviously, I'm not playing the game, so I'm just sitting here watching. And he's gonna play Juniper. Kiran, off this Juniper is probably gonna want Dark Patch, obviously, to get Sableye, which would be very unlikely for him not to get Dark Patch at this point. He's gone through 2 Junipers, and he's not seeing Dark Patch would be quite bad. Looks like there is a Dark Patch there. I apologize for Kiran's discard pile being off this camera. I can't really do anything. Obviously, I can't do anything about that now, but it's not a big deal. As long as he puts his cards on in the center of the field as opposed to in his discard immediately. That could be a little frustrating to watch, but I think it will be fine. He's going to put this Dark Energy on the Darkrai, which is very peculiar. He may have thought that his discard really just doesn't have anything in it. He does have that Dark Patch, and there's not much else. he has in there. I don't think. Maybe like, I think he has a catcher. Not a lot of that stuff is too great for him at this point, so he may just want to power up the Darkrai and skip the Junk Hunt phase. Which is it's a nice thing to think about. It's definitely that's a good play. I think that was a good play for Kiran there. I don't remember. I don't remember exactly what's in his discard, but a lot of players will just go on autopilot and try to get a Junk Hunt as fast as possible. But I think a lot of the time that's the worst move because sometimes your Sableye can get knocked out, and then you have to promote something else and get an energy on that, or you just don't get a Darkrai fast enough because you don't have the energy on it. It's yeah, Sableye is a fickle little thing. It's very interesting how that card works in Darkrai decks. It's not as simple as it seems really. So anyway, back to the current events in the game. It looks like yeah, obviously Quentin did get uh, a Hydreigon out this turn, and he's gonna level ball for Dino. And looks like he's in a good position. All he needs is energy to start attacking, and he'll be far ahead of Kiran. Obviously, the Darkrai deck usually wants to apply the straight Darkrai deck wants to apply pressure to win this matchup. If it doesn't apply pressure, it really doesn't have any sort of advantage other than Enhanced Tamer to discard Blend Energy. So really, he didn't. The one advantage that Kiran has in this matchup is gone totally. So that could be a problem for him down the line. And then Quentin's also going to play. And another reason Kiran might have wanted to not use Junk Hunt that turn because his cards might have been end away and he would not be able to draw them anymore. But this does what was that? My computer made a noise. I apologize for that. But that is a kind of a risky move because his resources, if he doesn't start Junk Hunting, he's going to have to deal with the cards he has in his deck right now the rest of the game. And if you go for this Darkrai strategy early on, you're not going to have as much resources left during the late game. Of course, you'll have less Dark Patch in your deck and less Ultra Balls and less energy in the discard because you didn't go for the Junk Hunt early on. Which is a little again, it's another interesting thing about Darkrai decks, but I think overall, I think it was better for Kiran to just not use Junk Hunt that time. And it looks like Quentin now has 4 energy in play, none of which are Blend Energy. So now he's going to be able to use Night Spear this turn. I don't really see a reason for him to use Junk Hunt right now. He has Dark Trance to be able to move his energy around as much as possible, so he can put all his energy on a Darkrai and just go crazy with Night Spear. Or he could. Looks like he's considering going to Sableye. Now this is a move I disagree with almost completely. I'm not sure what he has in his discard really. I don't see anything really that he could want. There's a Dark Patch in there. I believe there's a rare candy. Okay, now I see what he's going for. It's not a totally terrible move, but I think it would have been better to go for the Night Spear, just put on pressure. But he's getting that rare candy because he has a Hydreigon in his hand, and he doesn't want to have to discard his Hydreigon. Because I think he had a Hydreigon and a Juniper, and if he did not get that there, he would have to discard the Hydreigon, and the Darkrai deck can very easily knock out dinos or knock out Hydreigons. It's not too hard. It's not too difficult for them to do that. So setting up second Hydreigon is a good idea at this point. And it looks like Kiran did get a energy and a Dark Patch, and he's now his Night Spear ready to go. And he also has an N. And again, he's putting them in the discard instead of on the field, so we can't tell what he's using other than the only way we can tell is the effects that happen from the cards being played. And I guess I should mention that this is a best of 3 series. Yes, this video is not 54 minutes because of one game. This is 2 or 3 games happening here. That'd be a little ridiculous. One game lasts 54 minutes. Something tells me it's not going to happen. But anyway, he's going to play an N. Kiran, I think, I'm not sure if he might, because of that Junk Hunt Quentin did. I think he might be in trouble now. He's now getting the second Night Spear. He's still gonna get a Night Spear next turn. There's like no. The only thing that could happen to prevent Quentin from getting a Night Spear is if Kiran plays a laser and he flips tails and all this bad stuff happens. But he's probably gonna end up knocking out this Sableye or at least hit Darkrai. Apologize, my phone just went off. I'll answer that later. Yeah, he's gonna I think he's just going to end up knocking out the Sableye. Uh, he may go catcher for the Darkrai, but if he does catcher the Darkrai, it'll probably be max potioned immediately. So he's just going to Night Spear and put the 30 damage. He can either put it on, I think, the Darkrai, or he's going to put it on Dino. That's another good choice. Because now, of course, another Night Spear will knock out the Dino, and oh, never mind. He's going to have a Rare Candy and a Hydreigon. So I think that was a good move, because even if it evolves into Hydreigon, the 30 damage is still important, because now he can play a catcher and a laser, and with the Dark Claw attached, it'll be able to knock out the Hydreigon. So I think that 30 damage there was a good move by Kiran. The Darkrai was another option, because it is the big threat here, and you want to knock that out. But it could if he just has a max potion, that 30 damage means nothing. So now let's see what Quentin can do. I believe he has no supporter in his hand. He's going to Night Spear. It looks like he's trying to attack with only 2 energy on the Darkrai. I think that's what's happening. I don't see. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, he didn't attack with the 3rd energy. Or they've realized it's a Darkrai only has 3 energy. I'm not sure if Kieran's gonna let him take it back. Looks like, I believe the ruling in a tournament would be that it looks like we're gonna go with the turn. If you announce an attack and you don't have enough energy, your turn ends, which is kind of a sad thing that has to happen. It's a little disappointing. Quentin missed an attack there because of that mistake. Seems a little tough, but normally I think most opponents would just let you move the energy. But in a tournament where there's prizes on the line, and that's what happens. That is what happens in. I mean, this, as I said, this is in one of our tournaments, little league tournaments. But I mean, some people do take these a little seriously, and I don't blame him for going that way. That is what's supposed to happen. If this happened in the tournament and players went by the tournament code, this is what would happen. And now, what's happening? I believe Kiran played a laser. He's going to knock out the Hydreigon with Mind Jack. Do enough damage to knock that out, and he'll take his 2nd prize of the game. And now Quentin's going to send up his own Sableye, or Absol. And is he just going to... No, he's not going to Mind Jack. I was going to say, he has a supporter and a blend energy. He's going to want to play those. Looks like he's going to play a Juniper. Discard those and draw 7 cards. He could, if he draws it looks like he drew a Dark Claw. What this allows him to do is put the Dark Claw on a Darkrai, then retreat to it and Night Spear this Absol. If he just attacks with this Absol straight up, it will get knocked out by Night Spear, and he'll lose 2 energy, which is very bad for him. If he uses the Darkrai, he can keep those energy in play, and then either Dark Trance them off and max potion, or retreat to the other Darkrai and Dark Trance the energy onto that one. So I think it would be better to attach the Dark Claw. And Dark Claw is not useful in this matchup other than knocking out Absol and occasionally Keldeo, but with the Mr. Mime, knocking out Keldeo really isn't that good idea, because the 30 damage from Night Spear can't hit it. And he's just going to use Mind Jack on the Absol, which I think is probably the worst of the 2 moves he could have done there. I think unless that's not a Dark Claw I saw in his hand. I'm pretty sure I saw a Dark Claw, though. Now Kieran's going to send up his Darkrai, and he's probably going to knock out this Absol, and Kiran and Quentin will be down 3 prizes. They're down 2 prizes, 5-3. So he'll be at a disadvantage, and he'll have to come back. But the Darkrai Hydreigon deck can make pretty solid comebacks against straight Darkrai decks because of the max potion. It's very powerful against the deck with being able to heal them, and they can't heal their Darkrai's without discarding their energy. I'm not sure if Kiran does play max potion in his Darkrai deck, but that would be good in this matchup as well. Looks like Kiran played a Bianca and then an Enhanced Hammer to discard Quentin's special energy, and then he's going to use Night Spear and hit the Hydreigon. Again, hitting the Hydreigon is very good right now, because now the Hydreigon can be catchered and Night Speared. See, now Quentin touches Dark Claw. Now the Dark Claw isn't very useful, because Darkrai has 180 HP, so it doesn't do anything. That 20 extra damage doesn't do anything. And I'm getting Another text. I really don't want to answer that right now. Okay, now Quentin does this little subtle thing with the max potion and getting the Hydreigon. Now this Hydreigon can live another turn, but I'm not sure if that was the best move because now he can't use that max potion on a Darkrai. Uh, if, but I think that is definitely a decent play because Kiran still does need to knock out another. Kiran needs to knock out a non-EX Pokemon and an EX Pokemon to win, or two EX Pokemon, because it only has three prizes. So that Kiran will probably want to take out that Hydreigon as his non-EX Pokemon, and then knock out a Darkrai. But now the 30 damage is gone, Kieran's gonna have to spend another turn hitting for 30, and then he'll have to catcher it and get a laser and have the Dark Claw. And Kiran and Quentin also tool scrappered Kieran's Dark Claw, so he'll have to draw another one. And I believe he's already used. I think he might have used the second one. I could be wrong. And speaking of the 30 damage, Quentin now has the Mr. Mime in play, which will be able to protect his Hydreigon from 30 damage that Kiran can do. So they both have Mr. Mimes out. If Darkrai just has a straight 90 or 110, or if they had laser, that could be more. But yeah, now Kiran can. But this does open a spot for Kiran knocking out the Mr. Mime and then a Darkrai, and he'll just have to sit and wait for Quentin to whiff a max potion at some point, because that Mr. Mime is a lot easier to knock out than Hydreigon. All he needs to do is capture it and hit it with the weakest Night Spear he could possibly imagine. Just 90 damage. Even like an Eviolite can't save Mr. Mime. I don't think Quentin plays Mr. Mime, but I mean, I don't think he plays Eviolite. Not many decks play Eviolite anymore because of Tool Scrapper. But anyway, now he is going to catch the Mr. Mime, and because of this, all I have to do is knock out one Darkrai. I have to simply wait for Quentin to not draw max potion. He'll be able to hit it twice with Night Spear, and he'll have to leave that Hydreigon alive. And looks like he's playing is that an N? Not sure what he played there. Maybe I think it's a Colress he must have played, because Quentin's not shuffling his hand in. Colress will draw him. Yeah, it's a little annoying. He's putting the cards off the side of the table. It's a little annoying. But yeah, Colress will draw him 8 cards if that is indeed what he's doing. I assume that's what he's doing. An N would probably be not a good idea in this situation anyway, because he'll draw him 3 cards, and Quentin will get 5 new ones. But let's see. We'll get off this Colress. Again, I believe it's a Colress. I could be totally wrong. If only I was here to. I mean, I was there, but I didn't realize that his discard was off to the side. So, yeah, in the future, I'll make sure to make people look for that. And I remember at this point, Kiran asked if Mr. Mime dies, do I do the 30 damage? Which it is a no. If Mr. Mime dies and you're supposed to do 30 damage to something on the bench, 30 damage does not happen because all the damage happens at the same time, and Mr. Mime is still alive, so yeah. This is a question that seems to be asked all the time, and it's always no. I hear this so many times, and it frankly bugs me how many times I have to answer this question a lot of the time. And he's going to take his prize, and Quentin almost drew his card before sending up a Pokemon. In this situation, it does not matter at all who he sends up, since he has Dark Trance to move the energy, and then he can retreat it for whatever he wants, but that could be a problem in some situations. That is not allowed in tournaments. You must send up a Pokemon and then draw your card. It is totally not allowed to do it the other way around. So Quentin's now going to play an Ultra Ball. What he can get here, he has a few options. He can get Parisian EX, and if he draws any Blend Energy, he can be protected from some special conditions. And I think that is what he is going to do, is get that Parisian. One problem with getting, if he has Blend Energy, the lasers will not affect him, and lasers could be very problematic in this situation. But the problem with this is Parisian has 170 HP, which is less than Darkrai. So if Kiran can draw, or he can use Night Spear with his new Darkrai and hit the Parisian for 30, and then he'll be able to use a catcher with a Dark Claw and a laser to knock out the Parisian, because you need a Grass Energy on your Pokemon for Parisian's ability to work. And its ability is, if your Pokemon has a Grass Energy attached to it, it cannot be affected by special conditions. So it will be totally immune to Hypnotoxic. His active Darkrai will be immune to Hypnotoxic Laser. Apologize. But Brizion. Oh my God, another text. Who's texting me? Uh, if Brizion is not immune to it itself unless it has a grass energy. And something tells me Quentin could go ahead and put the blend energy on his Brizion to prepare for that. But it could be that's not a good thing you want to do. You want to keep it on the active so you can't be hit by lasers. And if you're forced to put on the Brizion, that could be annoying because then you won't have it on your active. Or of course, if Kiran plays an enhanced hammer, that's another thing that could happen. So yeah, looks like Kieran's gonna play an Ultra Ball. He doesn't really need any Pokemon. He's probably just thinning out cards, an Ultra Ball in the end. Both cards he really does not want to draw. That's another thing players often forget to do is thin out cards. With N in the format, you always want to get rid of excess cards that you won't need anymore, or you think you won't need anymore, unless of course you're going to deck out or something. But those cards can be drawn off N when you have very low hand sizes and you need important cards quick. And obviously, with those Ultra Balls and Ns are not things you want to draw off of Ns. It's very annoying when that happens. Okay, I'm gonna check who these 3 messages are from while I'm commentating. Looks like Quentin, Kieran is going to Night Spear here and hit the Brizion for 30. That's what I said earlier about that being a problem, where you know the Brizion won't be hit with 30, and then he could be hit later with the catcher Darkrai Night Spear. And looks like Quentin is going for a Ultra Ball. What can you get with this Ultra? Oh, it may be a computer search that he's getting with the Ultra Ball. And he looks like he does have a Mac, or he's I'm saying he used computer search and not Ultra Ball. Is what I mean. So yeah, he's gonna get. He's probably got a max potion with that. The computer source because that's what he needs right now. And if he can knock out this, if Kieran does not knock out, wait, what? Huh? Why did they shake hands? Maybe Kiran has the win, catcher, laser, and he slings a Dark Claw. I don't think he has the Dark Claw yet. He's gonna need that off of this Juniper. And if Kiran doesn't end up whiffing this Dark Claw, and Quentin has another max potion to heal his Brizion. Oh, it looks like it's Dark Claw. But it would have been a close game otherwise. He would have, Quentin would have knocked out the Darkrai, and then he would have no way to. He has no attackers powered up. He probably would have drawn an energy or Dark Patch off the Juniper, but he still would have had to power up another attacker. And if Quentin could get an N, then you'd be in a completely favorable position at that time. So it was definitely a close game there. Looks like the Darkrai deck prevailed there, and now we're going to go on to game 2, and I'm going to skip the shuffling here a little bit because it took like 2 or 3 minutes for them to shuffle up, which I apologize for, but of course I cut that out so you don't have to worry about it. And now I'm going to we're going to cut their decks, and they're going to draw for game 2. And Quentin will be going first because of course, you can if you lose the first game, or when you lose a game, the game after you're allowed to choose if you want to go first or not. And in this format, with these current rules that we have, you always want to go first. Soon enough, you will definitely want to decide whether or not you want to go first. But right now, there's no reason you want to go second. Literally no reason. Absolutely not. So, looks like Quentin has a Colress as his only supporter. He starts with a Darkrai. Darkrai is probably your second best starter next to Sableye. It's hard to dunk, and you need Darkrai to retreat anyway, so now that you have it out, you can retreat to anything else you want, or you could you also want energy on your Darkrai as opposed to other things, because of course it's high HP, it's hard to knock out. So Darkrai has always pretty much been the second best starter for these Darkrai decks. I can never think of anything else that'd be better. And back in the day when Smeargle and Mewtwo were played in Darkrai decks, those were better starters. I don't know about Mewtwo. Mewtwo, I think, was probably considered a worse starter than Darkrai. I don't know how that format worked very well, but anyway, Mewtwo is occasionally a better starter because, of course, it can attack for 1 double colorless energy. And Darkrai cannot really attack on the could not attack without getting a lot of support from Dark Patch and Shaman and whatnot. So anyway, back to this game. Uh, looks like he's going. Quentin's going to Ultra Ball for a Sableye, and he's probably going. I think he has a Dark Patch in his hand, and he's going to Junk Hunt for something very candy in Dark Patch. So yeah, that's what he's gonna do. His only supporter is a Chorus, which is quite terrible. Chorus will right now only draw Quentin one card, and that is bad. One card is worse than it's horrible. There's nothing you can do with one card. There's especially this early in the game when you want to draw a Dino and other stuff. You don't want to use Chorus for one. You really should not want to do that ever. And so it looks like he's just gonna go for Junk Hunt for those two. Ultra Ball and Dark Patch. And now it is Kiran's turn. Quentin's probably waiting for Kiran to bench more Pokemon. He's gonna need to bench Pokemon, obviously. Otherwise, he's just gonna have the Sableye out here, and Sableye will not be able to do much, especially since Quentin has a Darkrai. He'll probably be able to eventually knock out this Sableye if he draws enough energy. But so, Kiran's gonna need at least one more Pokemon, and Quentin's also doing something smart and getting Ultra Ball with the Junk Hunt. So now he can get more Pokemon out, and Chorus will eventually be able to draw him a respectable 4 cards at the least. I think he's aiming for 4 cards is enough to probably get you a supporter and maybe energy and Dino if you're lucky. I think 3, 2, and 1 are just not worth it in most cases. Of course, 5 and 6 and higher would be preferred, but Quentin's probably not going to aim for that. He'll have to pass for several turns in a row for that to end up happening. So let's see how Kiran started. He's gonna Ultra Ball for a Absol. That's an interesting thing that he's going for, the Absol, as opposed to Darkrai. With Darkrai, when you have that out, you have the Dark Cloak ability, and of course you can, retreat your Pokemon easier. But if you set up an Absol, that does attack for less energy, which I think at this point, Absol doesn't even do that much damage because of its because it only does 40 damage right now. Because Quentin has barely any bench Pokemon. But the Absol, if he wants to put on a lot more, if he wants to put on pressure right now, as opposed to later, the laser or the Absol will be useful for that. And yeah, he's just gonna Junk Hunt for Ultra Ball and Laser. And now he doesn't have a supporter either. Oh, looks like Quentin top decked a computer search, so he'll be able to get out of this rut that he's in and possibly pull ahead in this game. Quentin, his hand isn't exactly spectacular. His stuff, I mean, he can discard the cards in his hand, but he'd probably want to use other stuff. Oh, what is going on here? What just happened? Quentin's going to play. Oh, I think I see what he's playing an Ultra Ball. He's going to, or maybe not. I'm not sure. Maybe he's trying to take it back. What? Okay. He's going to discard computer search and the Dark Patch. I'm lost here. Okay. Why would you discard the computer search when you want an energy? Actually, this is an interesting thing he's doing here. He can get a Dino. That's what he's gonna want, and then he's going to use a Chorus, and then he's getting Junk Hunt for that computer search. And the next turn he'll definitely have a supporter, or something else that he might want. He'll want like Rare Candy or Hydreigon or whatever that he needs. So this is actually a clever little play by Quentin. I think I would have preferred just the computer search for Juniper, possibly get multiple Dinos out. This is probably not going to get him any extra Dinos, but that's definitely not a horrible play. He doesn't have to discard an extra supporter. He has more resources in the discard, or he has more resources in his deck. They didn't have to discard with the computer search and using it. He's probably going to Juniper, considering that Kiran's hand is pretty poor. So if this Chorus for 3, he gets virtually nothing. He gets an energy. He's probably going to want to attach that. And then he can go ahead and Junk Hunt for computer search, obviously. And then possibly Ultra Ball. Probably Ultra Ball. There's nothing else in there. I mean, he may have discarded Dark Patch. I'm not sure. Yes, there's a Dark Patch in there. That will be pretty good. I know he's going to go for Ultra Ball. It's not a bad move either. Dark Patch is pretty useless at this point. The Ultra Ball is also something you want in your deck in general. at this point to get out Pokemon. Dark Patch, he has no energy in the discard, and he probably won't have it for another few turns. So Dark Patch isn't too useful. And now Kiran looks like he top decked a Bianca, and that's gonna be good for him. That Bianca be able to draw him more cards. I don't know what his hand is. I think I see an Enhanced Hammer and a Laser and Ultra Ball. So that's not as bad as I thought it was. He's gonna Ultra Ball, get a Darkrai almost definitely to help him retreat to his Absol if he wants to Mind Jack, and then he's gonna play the Bianca. Get 6 cards with the Bianca. That's very good. Now someone looks like a tripod was bumped. Ugh, that's always annoying when that happens. Sorry about that. I think this is the worst it gets, so it's not that bad. And so now Kiran, he can get quite a bit ahead in this game. If he draws a energy and a Pokemon catcher, he can knock out the Dino with Absol's Mind Jack. So going for that Absol early on ended up being good for Kiran, being able to knock out this Dino. That's a good thing he saw that. It noticed if Quentin did happen to bench a Dino at any moment, Quentin would have enough bench Pokemon where Absol will be able to knock out a Dino. He's going to play the Bianca there. And yeah, putting more energy in the Absol now means you don't have to do it later. So yeah, I think that's a clever little thing by Kiran. Usually players would just get a Darkrai there and accept that as their preferred Pokemon, but obviously going off the autopilot formality is very good for players to do. You guys should, if you guys are having, you should always take a look at other players, how other players play, and see what they're doing when they win games and do well. You see clever little things to do, spot all these spot what they're playing, how many card counts they have, how often they draw things, how they're thinning out their deck, and that stuff. Okay. Did Kiran just move his deck more off camera? That's annoying. Like, come on. What's that, Kiran? Come on. Really? Okay, anyway. Looks like Kiran does not have the catcher to knock out the Dino, which is disappointing for him, obviously. He obviously wanted that catcher to bring out the Dino and knock it out, but obviously I think if he had that, he would just retreat right now and catcher it. Looks like he's just going to he can either junk hunt and get more resources back. I think he has a Dark Patch in there. I think he has 2 lasers in there. Both those are good. Maybe he just has 1. I don't know. He has a laser in there. I know that. Ultra Ball. All those are good things to draw, or good things to have in general. I think he's gonna go with the junk hunt here. If he went for the Mind Jack, he could have knocked out the Sableye, and Quentin would be stuck with just the Darkrai. But it looks like Kiran's going for the conservative route, because the thing if that actually happens, where Quentin, what am I looking for? Where he knocks out the Sableye. All Quentin needs is an energy to knock out. He needs an energy and a Dark Claw to knock out this Absol, and and Kiran will be left with just a Sableye and a Darkrai with barely any energy left in play, and he would not have the Dark Patch in his hand to power up the Darkrai, and yeah. So this is a conservative play that Kiran's going for here. You can tell he's definitely playing differently than he has last game. Last game he went for the aggressive route, and what? Okay, hold on. Let me finish my thought here. Kiran, in the first game he went for the aggressive route and powered up Darkrai as opposed to Sableye, and now Quentin is going for now Kiran is going for the conservative route and using Junk Hunt. You can tell he's not just an aggressive player or defensive player or anything like that. He's going for the play he wants to do right now. And now Quentin is doing this. What is he doing? He computer searched for a Hydreigon and used Rare Candy. So it looks like Kiran drew a card before he was supposed to send up Pokemon. But it looks like Quentin doesn't really mind. That's good to know. It's sometimes a good attribute to have, to let players take things back. Sometimes people think more fondly of that than people who abide by the rules and, say that if you mess up, you mess up. But some people prefer that way. I don't know. It's definitely a preference thing, whether you want to abide by the rules or being more kind and courteous in some ways. But now Kiran I think Kiran is now in the favorable position. Quentin has no supporter, and he does have a decent setup here with a Darkrai, Sableye, and Hydreigon. So if worse comes to, and he does have the Sableye in his hand, so if worse comes to worse, he will be able to power up the Sableye, or not power up, but he'll be able to use Junk Hunt and get Pokemon, or Computer Search. Junk Hunt for Computer Search and get a supporter, but right now, I think it was a bad move for Quentin to just retreat to that Darkrai and use Night Spear. I don't see why he went and did that. That was a little interesting how he went about doing that. I think it would have been better to get Computer Search and then be able to draw more things this turn, and he wouldn't be in this situation that he's in right now. So that, I think, was a mistake on Quentin's part. He did get the Hydreigon out, but the Hydreigon's not going to help him too much when he has 0 cards, or he has 1 card in his hand. It's not very useful. And now, yeah, let's see Kiran. Kiran looks like he has a good setup. He has an Absol with the Dark Claw, Burbank Laser. He's powering up the other Darkrai in the bench. I'm not sure what's happening right now. I think Kiran played a Juniper. It's even harder to see Kiran's field than it already was. Frustrated. Oh boy. Ooh boy, Kiran just drew 2 Dark Patch. And now he's able to power up this Darkrai. And he may want to use this to Sableye, or maybe just want to use the Absol and hit the Darkrai for 90 with the laser, or he can retreat to Darkrai because this Absol does have 30 damage. It's very all Quentin has to do is attack and knock it out, and it will be very easy for I mean, he'll just die, and then wait, hold on, what am I saying? He hits with the Absol, his Absol will die most likely if Quentin doesn't retreat and Junk Hunt, and then he'll be able to use his Darkrai. But if he retreats to the Darkrai, then the Darkrai will stay alive, but it will take a hit from Night Spear, and his Absol will stay alive for that's what like he's gonna do. And if he can save his Absol for when Quentin has more bench Pokemon, so that's another good thing that that Kiran did there. Apologize for how I'm speaking today. I'm definitely not doing very well with the speaking. And now Quentin has no options really. He can retreat and Junk Hunt, or he can Night Spear and simply get knocked out. Let's see what Quentin takes here. If he just, yeah, now Quentin's gonna go ahead and retreat and Junk Hunt, get a Computer Search with that, with the Sableye, and he's also going to shift energy off the Darkrai, save that. He doesn't really have anywhere to put them, honestly. The Darkrai is the easiest thing to knock out, but everything on his field is able to be knocked out in one way or another. The Hydreigon you can easily knock out that Hydreigon with Catcher, Dark Claw, Laser Burbank. I mean, not easily, but it's likely to happen. I mean, it could definitely happen. The Darkrai, if the Hydreigon does end up going down, you'll have no energy left in play, and there are no energy on attackers and no Hydreigon, a way to get a Hydreigon this turn. So there may have been, I'm not sure if Kiran, I think it's unlikely that Kiran will be able to pull all that off, especially since his hand is so small. But yeah, looks like he's just going to go for the knockout on the Darkrai, take the free prizes, which is, in this situation, I think the free prizes are better than usual, because of course that's, first of all, it's Quentin's only attacker right now, and second of all, with max potion, that damage could be gone at any moment. So you want to finish off everything that you can with finish off everything with that has damage on it with the when facing Darkrai Hydreigon. And now Quentin has a decision to make. He can either send up the Hydreigon or the Sableye. The Sableye, I think, is the better option because he has the other Sableye. The reason you would not want to send up the Sableye is because you can Dark Patch to Dark Pokemon. If you send up Sableye, you can't Dark Patch to it. But he does have more than one Sableye in play, so he'll be able to Dark Patch. And if Quentin does not end up drawing a Darkrai, he'll have to keep this Darkrai active, or keep this Hydreigon active, and he'll probably end up dying. So I think signing up the Sableye there was probably the better move. But let's see what Quentin can get here with this. I believe he played Computer Search, not Ultra Ball. I hope he played Computer Search. If he got a Darkrai, I think that would have been the worst choice. It looks like the Ultra Ball's on. Yeah, he's using Computer Search. Obviously, you can't get supporters with Ultra Ball because the Ultra Ball's on top of the Computer Search, which makes me think he played that. But looks like no, he did not. He went with the he went with the Juniper. Obviously, I think that was obviously the better move because now he can draw more cards. More cards, more fun. And looks like Quentin needs to draw a Darkrai, and he drew the Darkrai. That's very good. Uh, I guess something I should address here is that Kiran hit the Sableye for 30 as opposed to the Hydreigon. I think hitting the Hydreigon would be better because you don't need the Laser and Dark Claw to knock it out now. And yeah, and what? Okay, Kiran is not Kiran. Quentin is going to Dragon Blast the Darkrai, which does 140 damage, and you have to discard the energy. And now all Kiran needs is a laser, because the Verbank's out there, to knock out this Hydreigon. He does have the Wind Energy on there, but he does not have Riziani X out currently. So, what am I trying to say? So, the Hypnotoxic Laser will work on Hydreigon. So I think that was a very big misstep for Quentin right there. He really didn't need to do that. He could have just hit it with 90 with Night Spear, and then done then 90 again and knock out the Darkrai. So he didn't really need to use Hydreigon at all. That extra 50 damage really doesn't do anything with any of Quentin's attackers. The only thing I could see it working with is maybe Riziani X if he can power up that. You can Emerald Slash the Darkrai for 50 damage and knock it out. But I think just using the Darkrai would be better. It conserves more energy, and if this Hydreigon ends up going down, he'll have enough energy with the Darkrai to attack next turn. Even if the Hydreigon goes down, his Darkrai will be totally unharmed, and he'll be able to attack again. But nope, this plan means that now his Hydreigon can very easily get knocked out, and he'll be in a lot of trouble. So then Quentin's gonna play Kiran, I believe, Ultra Ball for a Sableye, and he doesn't need it. He doesn't need another Darkrai right now. So he might as well get the Sableye out. He has no Sableye. Sableye is very important. At any point in the game, you can just get 2 item cards back instead of attacking, which is, of course, always a good effect. And he's gonna play Juniper. Looks like his deck's getting pretty thin. I don't anticipate him decking out, but I could very easily see him running out of resources at some point if Quentin can put on enough, and if Quentin can knock out enough Pokemons to do that. All right, and let's see if Kiran drew the laser. It doesn't look like he drew a laser. Kiran has just been drawing very bad right now, whiffing a lot of crucial cards. He whiffed the catcher to knock out Dino. Now he whiffed this Hypnotoxic Laser to knock out Hydreigon. So it seems it's a little heartbreaking for Kiran to whiff all these cards, but sometimes it just happens with your deck. Nothing you can do about it. I think he's already used like 2, 3 lasers. I want to say 2. Maybe it's been 1. And it looks like he's gonna knock out the Sableye. Apparently it had 60 damage on it. I didn't even know it had 60. And now the Hydreigon's gonna be at 140 because of Dark Claw. So now all Kiran needs to do is hit it for 30 with Darkrai with Darkrai's Night Spear, and it'll be knocked out. Quentin will probably want to draw a Max Potion at this point to heal that off, so he doesn't lose his Hydreigon. But he may want to save those Max. But I mean, I would say he wants to save those for his Darkrai. But if he has no Hydreigon out, then he can't save them because yeah. So he definitely wants to Max Potion this guy off right now. And let's see what Quentin has. Looks like Quentin doesn't really have anything in his hand. I think I saw a Skyla and an N. That might be 2 Skylas. I could be totally wrong. Looks like Quentin. Let's see what he has. I think I almost definitely saw a Skyla. I think that's an N. And he's gonna catcher the Darkrai with 90 damage on it. I don't see a problem with that. It would take 3 Night Spears to hit that with the bench. Oh wait, never mind. Forget that. Kiran has Mr. Mime. So that's definitely not a bad thing. I'd say that was probably the better move. Just get it out of the way now so you don't have to draw a catcher later. Kiran may or may not be able to power up another attacker before Quentin knocks out both Darkrai's. I'm not sure if he can or not. He does have the Absol on the bench to be able to clean up this Darkrai. But he doesn't have another Darkrai, and obviously Kiran wants to use Darkrai's in this situation. Those are better than Absol in almost every way. They have more HP, they take more hits, they usually do more damage, they do the 30 damage to the bench. All those are very good things. And let's see what Quentin draws off this N. Looks like he did not get anything. We saw a Tool Scrapper, and that's about it. I think everything else is supporters, and I think it was Wireless. Wireless is, of course, the Stage 1 form of Hydreigon, if you did not know that. He does have a Tool Scrapper. That will be good for getting rid of the Dark Claws on Kiran's side, but he really doesn't. The Dark Claws really don't matter for Kiran anymore. He just needs to hit this Darkrai twice with Night Spear, and it'll be, totally gone. He doesn't really have any. He doesn't have any way to heal this Darkrai, so the 110 damage the 20 extra damage from Dark Claw doesn't really do anything. It does help on Absol, teeny bit, but definitely not on definitely not when hitting a Darkrai. Those Dark Claws don't really do anything. But you can make the argument that, of course, Quentin doesn't need that Tool Scrapper for anything else, so he might as well just use it now and get rid of the Dark Claws. Because you're right, he doesn't really need to use Tool Scrapper or anything else, because he has no other tools other than those. He probably only runs those 2 Dark Claws, so that's good for him, using the Tool Scrapper now. Looks like Kiran played a Juniper, as well as an Enhanced Hammer to discard the special energy, and Quentin's probably really distraught over that. He has 1 less energy in his Darkrai, and he's going to have to attach again to power that up. And speaking of powering something up, Quentin is going to need to power up another Darkrai at some point, because his new one his only Darkrai has 90 damage on it, and it will soon fall victim to death. That's all that's going to happen. Death. And Quentin will obviously lose because of that, if that happens. He's going to have to end up retreating to Sableye or Mr. Mime. Sorry about that. Because, of course, if he leaves his Darkrai active and just Night Spears, Kiran will just use Night Spear and knock it out. That's all he has to do. He doesn't even have to retreat or anything. Just does that and it's dead. Quentin could catcher the Darkrai with no damage on or no energy on it, Night Spear that, and then hopefully power up a second Darkrai before having to before the Darkrai dies, and he has to just hope that Kiran doesn't draw a supporter energy or Skyla or anything like that. I don't even know. I guess Skyla's into the category of supporter, so forget that. Yeah, Kiran has so many outs to win currently. All he needs is a catcher, and he'll be able to win. And energy will prevent that plan of him catching the Darkrai with no energy. And it looks like Quentin doesn't have much. He has that Absol, he has a Skyla, as well as Level Ball. It looks like he's just gonna scoop the game. So yeah, Kiran will take this series 2-0 to Quentin. And yeah, at that point, Quentin really had no hope of coming back. He could have powered up the Absol and probably done something there, but his Sableye would have been knocked out, or something would have gotten knocked out at that point, and it would just be like a really tough thing to do. And I believe time was called during that. Like we're doing 50 minutes as the current tournaments are doing. So yeah, I think that was the 3rd turn of time or something. So yeah, Quentin had no way to take another prize. So yeah. Definitely good series, good game. Both players did well. Quentin made a few questionable plays, such as where computer searching for Hydreigon as opposed to for a supporter, or when he computer searched for something else and then call rest for 3. That was another slightly questionable play, as well as using Dragon Blast with Hydreigon. But, of course, Quentin is a very good player. He did get top 8 at Worlds, so he's definitely not a bad player. He just he can just make mistakes sometimes. It just happens to everyone, making mistakes. So, yeah. That's going to do it for this episode, or this video. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys next time, or anytime in the future, for more Pokemon battle videos and other Pokemon-related content. I do quite a bit of it, frankly. So, yeah, thanks for watching. See you guys next time. Later.